In our last two sessions, we discussed a letter from a man who described a long history of difficulties with his son Bryce, who that day was thrown in jail on a drug charge. He called me because they were being asked to bail Bryce out of jail, which was a real financial problem for the family. I helped the father understand Bryce's behavior and suggested that he begin the process of teaching his son with consequences, rather than with anger and controlling. Now, back to the father. So your son made choices that were illegal, and the natural consequences of those choices are that he is in jail. If you bail him out, you are rescuing him from the consequences of his own decisions. And you've been doing that all his life. Most parents do. Look at what you told me in your letter. You said that Bryce couldn't afford to go to college. So, what did you do? You saved him and let him stay with you. But as an adult, if I can't afford something, what is the natural consequence? I either do without it or I work to earn the money and then I buy it. You also said that as an adult in your home, he was disrespectful and angry and smoked marijuana in your home, which is an illegal activity. Would you let me come into your home and break the law and be disrespectful and angry? No. As a natural consequence of my behavior, you would ask me to leave. And yet, you saved Bryce from the consequences of his choices. When adults don't get a job, what is the natural consequence? They get thrown out of their apartments or homes, and they acquire a very strong motivation to get a job, so they'll have a place to live and food to eat and so on. But when your son didn't get a job, what did you do? You let him stay with you and let him lie around and eat your food while he lay on the couch and watched television. Once again, he was saved from the consequences of his choices. I'm guessing that you've been doing that his whole life. So he probably thinks that you'll do that in this case too. Don't. He broke the law. The law says that he goes to jail unless he can make bail. If he can't make bail, he stays there until his case comes up for trial. So, let him stay there until his case comes up for trial. Explain to him that you're not doing this as a punishment, but because that's the natural consequence of his decision to fool around with drugs. Now, he might complain that you're not being fair, but of course, you're wise. So you'll respond that actually, what has been unfair all these years is that you've been rescuing him from the natural consequences of his choices. And you want to apologize for that. He might complain that you don't love him, but you'll remind him gently and directly that your love for him is demonstrated not by rescuing him, but by your lack of disappointment and anger toward him. Remind him that you didn't make his choice to break the law, and that you have chosen to love and support him regardless of his choice. Also point out that you have faith that he's a good and wise person who will learn from this experience. But regardless of your love for him, it is not your responsibility to save him from the consequences of his choice. Now, I fully realize this will be difficult, and we'll talk more about that in our next session.